this because we saw that you could save. And when we called her insurance, it didn't sound like much was going to be covered. So I don't even know that a consultation would be covered because we don't have backup to prove that we've been struggling with fertility. And I believe that there's a certain timeline that you have to be struggling in order for your insurance to cover it.
Yeah.
But I think it was good. Good class. It was small. There wasn't a whole lot of people there. She thought there was going to be 90 people. And I would say, I don't know if that's true or but about 20 people came, maybe even 15 people.
15 to 20.
Yeah. And when we first walked in, I was pretty nervous actually. I don't know, just going into these environments makes me really, I'm just a hyper person, so I didn't know what to expect. Like, if you're going to ask me questions, have me stand up, do different things. And when I was writing the name down, I noticed like three names above was a couple of our friends. It's a couple that we know, and they were in there, and that was really cool. And we sat like right near them, and it was neat to.
It definitely changed like the vibe.
Yeah.
I think we were both kind of nervous going in.
Oh, for sure.
And seeing, some good friends of ours in there as well.
Exit.
No, go further.
No, okay.
And we're gonna go eat a
Cracker Barrel.
Yeah.
I love it.
Convenient.
It's really far away, but here it is.
But I think that just kind of changed the vibe of being nervous, and like we're excited obviously to start our process, but like when you go into environments like that, you don't really know if like there's obviously judgments sometimes.
Sure.
And you just don't really know how it's going to play out.
We didn't know what to expect at all.
Being in a relationship like
Right.
ours. And so that was exciting. Like, they got excited to see us,
Yeah,
and
really
they're like,
excited.
"Oh, when are you
Surprised, I
starting?"
think.
Yeah, they were definitely surprised.
They were a big support for us along this journey. So
Yeah.
it was really cool.
Yeah.
To have them there, and I felt like the doctor ran the
seminar.
seminar. Thank you. And I thought that was really cool. I think it's neat that the doctor takes the time out. Because she could have anybody run the seminar. She could have a nurse, a doctor, or just anybody, just even like a marketing specialist or whatever, because it's just going over data and kind of and more of an informational. But instead, you get like her personal touch, and you get to meet who you're going to be working with.
Yeah, and kind of to see like her method and her thought process on why she's doing this, and her what she prefers to do, and just how she kind of experiences the field she's in and the couples she works with, and that's really cool.
Yeah.
And,
It was cool. I think it was cool. I feel like because we've been watching like different little vlogs and things, and I've been doing a little bit more research online, I knew some of the stuff for sure. I came in knowing more than I thought I would. Do I just exit? Sorry.
Yeah.
Diamond?
Yeah.
Okay, I think I left. Cool. I don't know where I am ever, so yeah, that's fine. I felt like she covered a lot of stuff. The one thing I started feeling like probably it was an hour long, like 40 minutes in, I was kind of anticipating a time when she would bring up same-sex couples. There was us in there was another couple over here, and then like one in the back.
Yeah.
So there was definitely at least three, I'm pretty sure 3 lesbian couples that were obviously in there, and they in most of the conversation it talked about like the reasons why people are there, like
it definitely was steered more towards straight couples,
Sure.
struggling with infertility, and that's it. It's understandable, and we talked about it.
Yeah, we've talked about
the thoughts, because it was really for Jamie, like she felt kind of excluded, like it wasn't like like we were, same-sex couples was at least half the class.
Yeah, it really was a good percentage of the class.
And so we were like, really, why wasn't like it more like directed more towards
even
us?
mentioned. I didn't need a whole section. Like for me, I didn't feel like it was necessary to cover to put us on a slide. Like we don't want to be included to the point where it's like you talk about it like it's something that it's not. It's a normal part of life. I don't want to have a slide of our own. But just to have it mentioned. When she would mention IVF, she was like, there's multiple reasons that we do this, and you know, she listed a whole bunch of things. Some of them were kind of extreme.
But real.
And real, for sure. Like, but extreme cases, like, don't happen very often. I feel like mentioning same-sex couples would have been much more common than some of the things they listed.
Right.
And so I took a lot of notes, and I started thinking, like, you know, oh gosh, I started having a little bit of hesitancy initially about, like, the fertility clinic, because I was like, why aren't we being included? And we've talked about it since. And, you know, I think that, unfortunately, with the way our society is now, I think the doctor has to choose to exclude talking about it and mentioning it, just because I think from a standpoint of that she doesn't know who's in there. These are not patients. These are random people off the street. And unfortunately, you can't control the people that are, you know, in there, the environment. You don't know. And she wants to keep it a safe place. This is me, of course, making assumptions about why that wasn't mentioned.
She chose her approach.
Yeah, well,
but I think also, I mean, it was a very informative seminar, and I went into it expecting it to be more towards, you know, straight couples struggling with infertility. I've done a lot of research on this center and on this doctor, and she definitely has a high percentage of same-sex couples that go to her and have left her great reviews and have, you know, and that just adore her. And I think what, you know, Jamie's wanting from the doctor or whatever, I think we'll get in our individual consultation.
Yeah.
I think it's just, you know, understanding the environment, and that maybe, because for us it is a joyous, this is how we're starting our family, this is our option, this is how we get to do it. So for us, we are excited to start this, whereas other couples, it's not the same experience because it has been a struggle for them, or, you know, whatever. And so I think it's just kind of creating more of that neutral tone where it's like, okay, here's the information, and it's understandable that you guys struggle, and to create kind of bring the, I don't know, it just can be really iffy.
Yeah. When you're in it, for me personally, like, if somebody else goes into this situation, I think, you know, it's easy to get into the mindset of, like, where you feel excluded, or I don't want to use the word discriminated, because I didn't feel like that was the case by any means. But in a way, sometimes we just don't feel like we belong in that. But I think that the doctor made a good decision, because she doesn't know how the people in the room are going to respond. And I think for me, if I'm looking at it from a standpoint of what would be worse, going into an environment of people that I don't know, and would I rather have her not mention same-sex couples on a slide, or mention it at all, and it go smoothly, and feel, you know, okay, maybe I would felt a little excluded, but how would I feel if she mentioned same-sex couples and somebody in the back scoffed? Or the person who was having a lot of opinions, and clearly in breakdown right behind me was a man who it was very clear there was a lot of emotions going on, and then maybe that triggered an emotion in him, and he feels unfair, or, you know, well, they can do this and it's not fair. What if I got that reaction? How would I leave the seminar feeling then?
Yeah.
If somebody had made a remark that, you know, made us less, I think that would have been more hurtful to me. So I think that in the long run, sometimes, you know, there's situations where people are going to have to make a decision that might leave us feeling a little excluded, or a little in the minority of the situation, but where we still feel like we belong. So,
and I mean, and then we weren't like rushing to the front or whatever, but then we happened to be first in line to make our appointment. She's booked 2 months out because she is, you know, obviously a really good doctor,
and she does all the consults. She's the only doctor there.
It's her center, and she takes a lot of pride in it.
Yep.
But, you know, the woman at the front, the receptionist making our appointment, was very kind. And I mean, like I was telling Jamie, it wasn't like I felt discriminated against or anything. Like I said, I've been, you know, seeing the results for same-sex couples there, but, you know, didn't bat an eye about any of, you know, she was like, oh, you're carrying, blah blah. So the receptionist at the front didn't bat an eye or anything. Like, it just felt really accepted, and you know, she was very like, okay, let's get you in. And with her being booked 2 months out, it was kind of like, for me, I was like, I'm ready to get this started.
We got like 2 weeks. We got in within 2 weeks.
They say they save special
spots for the seminar. So go to the seminars if you can. If the center
offers it. If you're going through the same process, and you're looking into centers, I mean, any of them, if you want to like check out a few different seminars, are great because they're free, and you can, you know, decide if you like one center versus another center, and maybe even get a
I
discounted.
don't think we're going to go to another center, though.
No, we're not. I've done a lot of online research. This one was actually recommended by a very close friend of ours, who has a lot of credibility with us, I think.
Yeah.
So I definitely have done a lot of my own analyzation. Did I say that right?
Analysis?
Whatever.
Analyzation? Whatever. Sounds good.
So.
But no, so let's see. Some of the things that I thought was cool about this is she calls, obviously we learned about multiple different things, and a lot of them I didn't take notes because we can't do a lot of the things that she described because we have to do IVF. Well, I get for my egg situation to be in you.
Yeah, did we already explain the reciprocal?
I don't know that did we talk about that?
We had already talked about it, but we're doing reciprocal IVF. Yeah, we definitely talked about this.
Well, that's fine. Talk about it again. Maybe this one will be better.
So we're going to pick a sperm donor, which obviously needs to be done. And then we'll go through the process of retrieving Jamie's eggs. So she'll get to, do the 10 days of shots where they produce more eggs.
This is what we've learned, like, on research. We haven't been told this from the doctor, but this is what it looks like. There might be more, there might be less, depending on what they find when they do the test.
I mean, that's IVF
for us.
in generalization, is, producing a lot more eggs, so then you get a higher success rate, and then they retrieve it. So, but then instead of putting it back in Jamie's body, we're putting it in my body, so they'll, I'll take certain types of medicine so that my uterus is ready to carry a baby, along the same time that they're, creating embryos, and retrieving eggs and whatnot.
Yeah.
So that's what we're doing. But I mean, we also get to talk to the doctor at our appointment in a few weeks, and really decide if that's the right process for us.
Yeah.
And
I took a lot of notes, so I just wanted to make sure I didn't leave anything out.
Yeah.
I took notes about so we learned today that pretty much, I don't know how I'm saying this based on what she said, but that, like, you're born with the eggs that you're gonna have.
They age with you. Your eggs age with you.
Eggs age with you. So my eggs are 34 years old.
Jamie's a lot older than me, if that hasn't been mentioned yet.
Yeah, I'm 34 and she's 24. I'll be 35 in November.
Like 10 and a half
so
years.
I feel like on the graphs that she kept showing, it was a very big difference between 34 and 35. I mean, not huge, but I see that it starts declining between 35 to 41.
So we're excited that we got our appointment
before I'm 35.
A few months before she's 35.
So I feel like I'm still
it's going to age drastically.
I'm still a kid.
In a few months.
Things are happening. And the likelihood of, like, I don't know if it was more the procedure, but I was thinking my mom was 42. Like, when she had me, and I'm a miracle, guys. Like, you should see the odds. It's very small to have a child at that age. And I'm not to discourage anybody that is older, because there actually are a lot of higher rates, but just to have that happen, especially naturally.
Well, the doctor said it's a miracle any of us are here naturally.
She said that it's, like, especially with, like, how much toxins and, like, things that we're surrounded with in the air and what we put in our bodies.
And just the process of, sperm and eggs. Like, the egg can land anywhere in the uterus.
Yeah,
and
that we learned that. It was like, she showed us a graph, and there was, like, it's like it pops. It's like a cyst.
Your egg doesn't actually, drop in, like,
it's not like a flawless little.
I feel like they didn't teach that in health class, because I felt like what I learned in health class was that it just slowly traveled through your tube and down. No, it just
pops up.
Goes anywhere in the uterus, and then the sperm barely gets into the vagina. So those of you out there who are naturally making babies, I mean,
good job.
Wow, because that's, your kids
impressive.
really are miracles.
That's pretty great. Because 10% of the sperm.
Doesn't even make it.
And it doesn't matter what position, apparently. I've always thought that there were different things.
Yeah, she was like, it doesn't matter
how. You stand them on their head, all the things, and it's not going to make any difference. 10% is going to get into the cervical wall. I don't know anything.
Something like that. Anyways, it was a very informative seminar.
One thing that she was talking about is, like, at this clinic, she calls it ultra IVF versus IVF, because there's there's just multiple things from what I understand. Like they use Saturn lasers, and I don't really understand what they do with them, but apparently that's kind of cool technology. They've upgraded their like areas where they store stuff, like, and do the work.
A lot cleaner air.
Class 6 clean room technology is what it's called. And it helps to avoid like dust and bacteria
and
a lot better.
What I found really cool, because I don't know much about labs or whatever, but what in their lab, the work that they're doing with the eggs and the embryos, it's actually an incubator from the NICU in the hospital that they turned into their own little, process, or they have a microscope, and
she said it's like, I mean, I guess I never really thought of it like it is like you're recreating the womb, and I knew that, but I didn't really understand it. And they have to like control the temperature and everything to where it never falters and makes it think it's going from one area to another. It's always just feels like it's in the body.
Yep, because you don't want it to feel like it's ever outside the body. And there's so many germs floating out in the air with dust particles and bacteria that lands on the embryo can make the embryo really sick, obviously, and
one thing she talked about too is that what makes it a little bit more of ultra IVF is that they include where did I write it? The P.
It's right here. Well, it's where they do
the comprehensive genetic screening.
Yes.
So that helps.
We don't have to pay extra for that. That's part of our process.
I guess it was like $6,000 more at other places, and it's cool because we were talking about that before, and we were like, do we want to do the genetic screening? We don't want to like discriminate, we don't want to not love. But at this point, it's like you want to get the best possible embryo, right? Is that what
for survival?
For survival, yeah. And so she said, from an outside perspective, it can look like the absolute best one, but it could have some genetic
anything
issues, and they would be able to screen those out.
Yeah.
And that's good. And I think that's good that that's included. She was talking about also pricing, and I guess
financing. Is that
well,
what you're gonna say?
well, no, but yeah, they do financing. We don't know what that looks like exactly, but we found out, for some reason she mentioned it, that Colorado, which is where I'm from, charges twice. And we have a friend of ours that's going through this process, and I'm like, oh man, it's expensive. There.
It's expensive.
It's expensive
in general.
now, and then to pay. I don't understand why Colorado's double. Is it because of the pot? Because of the pot.
Jamie calls it the pot. The marijuana business has boomed in Colorado,
and I think it's because of that. Because the housing market's up, so that's crazy. We gotta buy a house here because we've got the pot here now, and people want that stuff. So hopefully we get this going and get a house and save a little bit, because I don't want to pay double.
Yeah.
So I thought that I mean. The genetic screenings included, I don't know, the fact that I'm under 35 is helpful, I feel like. Start talking about FSH levels. I'm not real familiar with that, but we're going to find out at the next appointment in like 2 weeks-ish. We'll find out, I believe, at that appointment, kind of what we need to do, what tests we need to do, our timeline, cost, possibilities of how to pay for this. So we're definitely going to be doing some of the financing.
Things that you guys can definitely expect from this vlog is probably our authenticity with our process. I mean, money is not like a struggle for us, but it is this is an expensive process, so I think our honesty with how we're doing it could be helpful for other couples that aren't quite sure.
We're making the bills. We're paying for our vet visits of our dog, things of that nature, but we don't have the money laying
just
around.
Sitting in our bank account to pay for this.
We did play the lottery with a friend from Colorado who could definitely obviously use a little bit of this money too, because
all of us could use it.
We all could. Yeah, I don't know. We could win the lottery tonight. We'll let you know that for sure. But without that, it's good to know there's other options.
Yeah.
And we'll let you know costs,
And your insurance could even, I know for a fact, my insurance, told me when I called before we even started this process, they offer certain coverage for couples that struggle with infertility, like if I've been trying or whatever, and unfortunately, unfortunately, whatever, it's not our circumstance.
we don't have that option. You know, we could try all day, and I think
it's not about being infertile. It's more about just this is how we get to start our family, and we're okay with that.
And we might, and not putting it out there, but like, you know, we might run into some bumps in the road.
And we could.
And that would probably be covered by insurance,
possibly.
Right? I don't know.
We know the blood work or whatever, but we'll let you guys know.
But we're excited to start this journey.
Yes.
And
I think we should talk about, you know, how often to expect the vlogs, and we're not.
Yeah, I mean, we love this one that we're watching, and they do it like every day, and they're so fun, and I just love them. But I just don't think I have enough to say to do it every day. I don't think you'd want to. I talk constantly, so that I could tell you every thought I have all the time. You don't want to hear all of them. So probably, I mean, I don't know, once a week.
Once a week, definitely, probably more often when it comes to the process
starting.
You know, based upon how often the appointments are, based on the procedures. You guys will definitely get updates. If you're not watching this, then we're updating ourselves, and this is us documenting our journey.
Cool, yeah, because later in life
we get to look back on it,
and we get to, our kids get to like, what are they doing? Oh my god, that's crazy. Like,
and our kids will be even more embarrassed.
Oh, very. We'll show these like at their wedding or whatever, and like, oh, this is when we were talking about you. I don't know. Yeah. Anyways, so now, I think that covers a lot of things. Hopefully that was somewhat helpful. I don't know.
Yeah.
More than just reading online or something. We're gonna go eat Cracker Barrel.
And if there's any questions.
Yeah, if there's questions, I don't know, or thoughts or comments or things that you guys could add that we seem confused about, which I'm sure some of the things I've said have not made a lot of sense. Feel free to leave, comments on this, and
if you've gone through the process, let us know how your experience was.
Yeah,
I think that's definitely.
We've
We've been searching, and we've now met a few people who aren't same sex but who are going through the process, and it's nice to have that. You know, you can have like meaningful conversations and share your experiences, but I think if there are any same-sex couples out there that are going through a similar process or have gone through it, what was your experience in the beginning? Because I think we definitely appreciate
all the insight,
sharing,
anything, because this is new to me. I don't know what I'm doing here, can barely take care of myself, so we're about to venture into something pretty crazy.
It'll be fun.
Yeah.
It's like if you really look into IVF and see that you literally get to grow your child and know everything. Like a lot of people, it's just like wham bam, thank you ma'am, and they're pregnant, right? They don't get to see that from the very minute that your future child's life is beginning. Yeah. I think that we have the opportunity to see that and share that. And for even straight couples going through it, like that's really kind of a really positive thing. And you get to you're really invested. Not that other people aren't invested in their child's life, but you're
and it is an investment.
Totally involved and invested. And I think that is just so cool that you get to really experience that, because I mean, at least your child's not an accident. You know that you've planned for this kid, and that your kid is definitely loved and wanted, and that's, I think, really cool. Really cool thing.
I mean, you can't put a price tag on it by any means when I say investment, but
investment, you're investing feelings. And
you're investing feelings and money, but at the end of the day, like, it's all worth it, because I don't know, it's just bringing life into the world and leaving your legacy, and it's pretty neat. It's a really, really, really cool thing, and I'm really grateful that I'm able to do this with you.
Yeah,
I think it's really cool.
Start a family.
Yeah, it's pretty neat. So yay, we're excited.
Okay,
we're gonna go eat now.
Cracker Barrel. All right.